How do you get your ideal client to hire you for coaching?
Part 2 of 2.
Email people an audio file. If you're out networking and you happen to strike up a really great conversation with someone you're interested in coaching, get their business card, and when you get home or back to the office, or if you're still at the event, email them to say, "Hey, it was great meeting you and talking with you about... I thought you might like to listen to how I help people experience breakthroughs with my coaching. Check it out and let me know what you think. Sincerely, your name, niche coach," etc. You could even prepare a library of different audio recordings taken from some of your best recorded coaching calls. This is exciting. Imagine going through a year's worth of coaching calls that you've recorded, and then you cherry pick the best pieces that don't give away the farm, but give an insight as to how you are working with people on the phone or however it is that you work with people one-on-one. Then that library could be a web page that is password protected, and basically all you do is just password protect the page. It doesn't require any username or password. You just enter a password to access that page. For example, WordPress. You can choose that. You can have a password protected page where you give it a password like "listen to me" or "great coaching" or "work with me," something like that. And then they access that page, they listen to all those audios, and wow, they get a good sampling of how you are before they even pick up the phone to say, "How much do you charge?" or "What is your coaching about?" No. Before those people ever contact you with all their questions, their only questions should be about how much are you and when can we get started and give me more details about your packages. Those are the eager people we want to call us. So having this library of audio recordings that give samples of different scenarios and situations, different approaches, different angles and perspectives, but not giving away the farm. In fact, when you upload these recordings, the recordings themselves, for example, I use Sony's SoundForge Audio Studio to record this audio program. There's a feature that allows me to fade in or out any audio. So at the end of each of these little clips, let's say you have a library of audio and the audios are, between 3 and 10 minutes long. Well, fade out the end of each of these audios. They fade out until you cannot hear. And it leaves the listener curious.
But what were they going to say?
Always leave your customers wanting more, never leave them fully satisfied. So if they were to go through 10 audio clips where it all fades out, psychologically they're going,
I'm left here with questions about what did you say? I think I need to hire you to find out what you said.
And then at the end of each of those audios, you could always make a quick commercial about, "Hey, did you like what you just heard? There's more of that when you coach with me one-on-one. Contact me right here through my website, and let's get started today coaching together." Include audio in your products that you ship to customers when they buy your products. You can either include a promotional stereo playing CD or MP3 data CD containing any number of MP3 audio files or just one big one, or a half-sheet paper flyer that directs people to a website URL where they can listen to and or download your audio gift to their mobile phone or computer. Again, the purpose of using audio is to further help customers that have already invested in one of your products by buying it, to generate even more interest in continuing to learn from you by potentially hiring you as their personal coach. This is the turn product customers into coaching clients conversion program. Anywhere, any way possible, get people hooked on listening to you so they get hooked on ordering coaching from you. Launch a podcast. If a prospect contacts you about a complimentary session, you can direct them to your podcast so they can understand your coaching style without giving away your billable time. Podcasting is simply a method of using the internet to broadcast or distribute recorded audio files in MP3 format over the web that you create on your computer, over the telephone, or live in person with just yourself or a group of people contributing to the audio recording, such as an interview to listeners all over the world, etc. Podcasting is a powerful way to syndicate your own audio and even video on the internet. One idea to do with this podcast is to treat it like a radio show. Another way is to use it as a mock coaching session. You could actually invite a hand-selected guest to discuss their issues, and keeping things general, you're going to have to watch your words, and the client who's actually getting this complimentary session, they too will need to sign an agreement that anything they do or say on the call is heard and is public record. So, just be mindful of what you say. No swearing, no private email addresses, phone numbers, nothing of personal contact information. But keeping things general and just having a discussion. The discussion could go very well. And as people listen in to somebody else's problem that you're solving, they could also say,
I want to be in that hot seat. I want them as my coach.
Now, the coaching session that you give on this podcast call doesn't need to be long. Typically, a coaching session runs, 30, 45 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. These little episodes of coaching on your podcast can be short, anywhere between 5 and 15 minutes, because you're going to address a certain situation, and then you're going to build up to where you're about to unload the answers to their situation. But in a very craftful way, you will not. So you're talking, you're listening, the client is sharing what's on their mind or what their issue is, their pain, their problem, their passion, and you're addressing each one in ways, yes, I understand where you're coming from. In fact, blah, 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 blah. Now, what I would do, I'm going to give you part of the solution, but I'm going to retain the other part for you to call me afterwards. So on this podcast, you're accomplishing a goal for the listener, and that is you're giving away some of the information, but you're withholding other information. You want to absolutely pique that listener's curiosity as to,
well, what else did they say?
It's one thing to educate, entertain, inform listeners with insightful information as to how you go about solving issues, but it's another to craftfully arrange your audio when you're speaking to this client live on the podcast show to where you wind up just about to share the hot tips, but instead you're going to pull back to say, I'll tell you what, why don't we finish our conversation on a regular coaching call, and I'll get into more detail with what I was talking about.
All right, that sounds great.
All right, well, you've been listening to the Niche Coach Podcasting Show, and I want to thank you for listening in. If you have a question about coaching with me, or if you just want to drop me a line, I'd be glad to hear from you. So, contact me at my website, blah, 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 blah. You get the idea. Of course, there are many other marketing activities that can give prospective clients a view of your coaching, such as Google Hangouts, social media groups, ebooks, and more. Give them an overview that they can check out, so you don't waste your time. Save time and maximize your ability to score more clients in a single sample session.